Why does a tiny piece of sodium explode in water, while a gold coin can sit on the ocean floor for centuries, unchanged? The answer is a universal drama playing out at the atomic level, the quest for stability. Most atoms are energetically unstable. They want to have the same electron setup as the nearest noble gas, a full outer shell. This drive is what we call reactivity. For metals, it's about how easily they can give away an electron. For nonmetals, it's about how desperately they can steal one. Let's look at two famous families on the periodic table. First, the group 1 alkali metals, like sodium and potassium. They all have one lonely electron to lose. As you go down the group, from sodium to cesium, the atoms get bigger. That outermost electron is further from the nucleus's grip, making it easier and easier to lose. That's why a small piece of sodium fizzes in water, but the same amount of cesium can shatter a beaker. Reactivity increases down the group. Now meet their opposites, the group 17 halogens, like fluorine and chlorine. They have 7 outer electrons and are hungry for just one more. Here, the trend is reversed. As you go down the group, reactivity decreases. Why? A small atom like fluorine has a powerful, concentrated pull on outside electrons. It's the most aggressive electron thief. A larger atom like iodine has a much weaker pull. This creates a chemical hierarchy. A more reactive element can kick a less reactive one out of a compound. Chlorine, being more reactive than bromine, can steal its place in a chemical bond, but bromine can't do the same to chlorine. This predictable battlefield of chemical forces explains not just lab reactions, but why bronze was used by ancient civilizations, while aluminum had to wait for the invention of electricity. It all comes down to the eternal atomic dance of giving and taking electrons.